Pam Bondi is out. Fired. Done. See you never. I'm actually not going to sink to that level. But she is the second cabinet member gone in a month from the Trump regime. And I want to take a moment, a proper, respectful moment, to review the highlights of Pam Bondi's tenure as Attorney General of the United States. Because certainly we don't ever want to forget all of the things she's done, and we need to have her work remembered. She started strong. In February 2025, she went on Fox News and told the country that Jeffrey Epstein's client list was sitting on her desk right now to review. Everyone was excited. And then months passed. The DOJ and the FBI then had to say there was no such list. There never was a list. What Bondi had on her desk was the general Epstein paperwork, flight logs, whatever, which is what she described as a client list, presumably because she thought that she would be able to just satisfy everything by saying that out loud on Fox News. It didn't satisfy anything. She later tried to undo that by explaining she meant all the paperwork. Her explanations didn't help. And then she invited conservative social media influencers to come view the Epstein files in binder form. People arrived. They looked at the binders. And what did the binders have? Mostly redacted material and the things that were already available to the public anyway. The influencers left unimpressed. The binders were a prop. Just like everything else the DOJ has botched with the release of the Epstein files. There's still heavy redactions. We still haven't seen all of the files, and the redactions are there to protect the people in power, not the victims. Thanks, Pam Bondi. That's your legacy. And we saw her at the House Judiciary Committee in February 2026 while the Epstein survivors sat behind her. And during that hearing, while being questioned about the files, she said her famous line, "The Dow is over 50,000 right now. That's what we should be talking about." By the way, the Dow is not currently over 50,000, while victims were right behind her in a congressional hearing. That's what she cared about, and that's what she said we should be talking about. She called in that same hearing Congressman Jamie Raskin, he's a constitutional law professor, and he's practiced law for decades. She called him a washed up loser lawyer, and then added, "You're not even a lawyer." She said this while serving as the nation's chief law enforcement officer about a man whose primary job description is lawyer at a congressional hearing on television. But only one of those attorneys has been fired. Thank you, Pam Bondi. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, Pam Bondi telling a lawyer that he's not a lawyer would be like a cardiologist telling a heart surgeon that you don't even know where the heart is. Absolute insanity. Also, by the way, on the day she was fired, she rode in Trump's motorcade to the Supreme Court for the birthright citizenship arguments. She sat through all of these constitutional oral arguments not knowing that she'd been fired, or at least maybe knowing and not saying anything. It is reported that she had to beg to keep her job. I would have loved to have sat in that motorcade. That would have been just an amazing scene to see. Either way, she went home later that day, no longer the Attorney General. The DOJ, if you walk through Washington, has a banner with Trump's photo hanging off the building, and it was put there under Pam Bondi's watch. Trump loved Pam Bondi. He said so publicly. And he fired her for not being cruel enough. She did every dirty thing Trump asked. She bent the DOJ in directions it has never been bent. And she was still not fast enough and not mean enough. That was the job. That's what loyalty gets you. By the way, good news, she is still subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee on Epstein. And Democrats, they're saying the subpoena, it's going to survive her firing. She will have to testify. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries called her the most corrupt attorney general in modern history. Former DOJ attorney Stacey Young said Pam Bondi took a sledgehammer to the Justice Department, and what she destroyed in a year could take decades to rebuild. I want that to be something you remember forever about Pam Bondi. Trump fired Pam Bondi, but please, don't fire us. Your engagement helps feed our kids. And our editors, they've got to eat too. So like, subscribe, leave us a comment. We'd love it.